Okay, first off, I'm going to be a little biased about this movie. This is like a childhood favorite. A lot of nostalgia. I remember watching this all the time, I believe on HBO, maybe TNT. Either HBO, pretty sure. No commercials. And just loving this movie as a kid. Probably like this movie and Barbarian, Conan the Barbarian. Probably why I love those fantasy movies. Especially those movies kind of like this one where they take place before the dawn of man, where you just got people wearing skin pelts as clothing, a lot of sorcery and stuff like that. Because I don't know, that's what I like, and it's probably because of my childhood loving this movie. Watching it as an adult, I still enjoyed it. I don't know if it's, like I said, it might have been nostalgic. I mean, it's definitely not the best movie, but this movie knows what it is, and it sticks to it hardcore. They know what their budget is, and so they don't overdo it. A lot of these fantasy movies from the 80s try to be this large, epic thing, and they just don't have the money to do what they want to do with the story. And I feel like they knew what their budget was, and so they adapted the story to it. And I think that's why it's such a good watchable movie, an entertaining movie to watch, and it's not so much eye rolling. You got enough magic and fantasy elements to keep you engaged, especially if you're somebody who is a fantasy lover like I am. So let's get more into this movie. Enough about that. First off, the three witches at the beginning. Pardon me here. I just got to say this for some reason. I only got like 2% women on it, so I think it'd be safe to say this. But the three witches are, well, I'm not going to say it. All right. But anyways, they got very good bodies. Just put a paper sack over their heads, and you get a beautiful girlfriend. Let's say that. And I kind of like the whole, and then going back to the movie, it is kind of like the myths of Greek mythology and other mythologies where there's a baby getting ready to be born, and they're going to destroy a certain king. So they go out and try to destroy this baby before it can even fulfill the prophecy. That's what you got going on back in the background. That's what you got going on there. And like the way they do it, the three witches I just talked about who are butterfaces, they're taking the baby from the mother's womb and putting it into a cow's womb, which is pretty cool and effects, especially for that time period. And it kind of explains why he's the Beastmaster, because he was literally born from a beast, and he's able to communicate with animals. I will say the ferrets definitely steal the show. They're so cute and adorable. But especially as a kid, I love the ferrets. One of them meets a sad ending, a tragic ending. It dies, saving him in the fire. But the happy ending is that the other ferret is having children, so you have the offspring. That's kind of like the counterbalance, I guess. Okay, we're going to kill the ferret, but hey, we're not going to have kids, so it's okay, right? It's okay for us to kill this ferret. So anyways, and the animal performance is pretty cool. Sometimes you feel like you're watching a National Geographic movie or TV show, especially when they show the eagle take flight. The mythic bird, very well shot, very cool indeed, especially when you get to see the way how he sees through the bird and stuff. If you've ever seen Brendan Fraser's George of the Jungle, maybe they got a bit of inspiration from this, maybe not, but you do have that kind of scene where there's like a tiger. Now I'm trying to remember, is a tiger or a Black Panther. But anyways, there's a large cat getting ready to attack Tanya Roberts' character, and of course Dar comes in there, and he steps in between them, and you communicate with the cat, so he acts like he's all mighty and stuff. Just think of George of the Jungle when he saves Ursula, and the cat and him are good buddies, make him look good, so she'll be attracted to him. Basically the same thing going on here. And let's just say Tanya Roberts looks very good in this movie. And this is probably one of her better acting performances. I think it's a lot better than her James Bond. Well, maybe about the same, but I like her character in this one a lot better than the James Bond character she played in and A View to a Kill, where all the things she's really doing, saying, James, help me. And this one, she actually can hold her own. She's like a princess, slave type of character. And of course, what man wouldn't want to save Tanya Roberts? I mean, even my 7-year-old self wanted to save her. I didn't really realize as a kid, though, you had that pond scene. You know, as a kid, you're more interested in the animals than, especially at 8 and 9 years old, you're more interested in the animals than the women body, per se. So you do have like the 30-second scene of that where two girls taking a bath in a pond. So there you go, guys. Fighting scenes are very well done, very well choreographed, especially for the budget. Make them believable. That, like I said, this movie really knows its constraints. It doesn't try to do more than what the budget allowed. So a lot of movies at the end, you would expect like a great big battle between two big armies, because that's what it's kind of preparing you for. But the movie does something very subtle. In the middle act, we see that Dar befriends like this bat wing type of creatures who are like the guardians of I forget of the evil wizard, but I can't remember his name because I'm gonna need to look at my notes because he does an excellent job too. Rip Torn, Mr. Torn from Men in Black fame. He does a great job as a wizard. Anyways, he has these guys who are like his bodyguard, and because due to his own fault, Dar has the symbol on his hand, and this symbol is what they recognize, so they decided to trade sides and protect Dar over him. They come in and basically wipe out this invasion, the enemy army. Not to say, though, you do got a great one-on-one battle between Dar and their leader in the fire and flames. Looks cool on screen. Very well choreographed. Especially when he falls into the moat of fire, which is excellently done. I do like what they did with the city, the big city sets. The sets are very well done. I want to say this again, it's going to be a theme. This movie definitely knew its budget and built around that. You actually got a pretty believable pyramid that you got some fighting scenes on. Very well done. And like I said, everything looks really good. And the cinematography, I think it's pretty good. The cinematography as well. Going back to like the creatures with the Batwing type of creatures, you got them. They're very interesting. They play a big part. I think the one creature though was kind of underutilized in this movie was the men who are driven crazy, the berserker type of guys. Think of Resident Evil 4, because Resident Evil 4, you got those guys that got their eyes so shut, and you got those long claws, and you can't make a noise, so they're cutting you in half. They resemble something like that. Also, Demolition from WWF, good old days. But these guys are driven crazy by an insect. And you just, I just wanted like a one good fighting scene between Dar and them. But they're so OP, I guess. They decided the best way to get rid of them is to have them get crushed by a gate. What is going on behind? Oh, my Netflix, my Fandango must have ended. Let me turn that off so we're not watching World Police there. Anyways, now I lost my thought. Anyways, I thought they were underutilized, the berserker things. They're scary though, man. It was scary as a kid, and they were a little bit frightening as an adult. I wouldn't want to mess with them at all, but I do think they were a little. I would like to saw them take more of an action in this one. And like I said, Rip Torn was a great guy, great job performing. With these types of movies, you need a great villain to offset your hero and up and kind of lift the movie to a higher form. And Rip Torn does an excellent job doing this as the warlock type of wizard leadership. I would have liked a little bit more explanation on his kingdom, a little bit more lore behind him. That would have been nice if they could have done that. Maybe spent 5 more minutes doing that for us. Like I said, the action scenes were great. In this movie, choreography. John Amos, he's the guardian of the Little Prince. does an excellent job in this movie. You would probably know him from Coming to America. He's the dad, the McDonald's dad. And he was in a lot of good movies in those 80s. He plays an excellent job in this. I think he was kind of like I don't know if he's like the movie star, but he's kind of like more grounded. And I really love his character. He's kind of like that fatherly character as well. As he's kind of teaching this young prince the ropes and, what's good and what's bad. And him and Dar plays off very well. I keep on saying Dar. Let's just get this actor's name. Hey, I'm just like you guys. I'm not some great person here on these things. Marc Singer, that's right. Marc Singer playing Dar. Like Marc Singer, I think he did a pretty good job. He has the same body type as today's He-Man movie, getting ready to come out in a couple of months. But he does a great job of performing as Dar. Probably his best role. And I don't know. That's all I really got to say about Beastmaster. 11 minutes. Like I said, a lot of nostalgic here. I think you should check it out if you get the chance, especially if you like fantasy type of movies. I think this is one of the better fantasy movies of the 80s. You had Conan the Barbarian's probably the top tier. And then I think, Beastmaster is probably right underneath that. Let me know your thoughts below about Beastmaster. Like I said, it's not the greatest movie, but it's entertaining. It's a good movie, okay? It's good. It's not great. I would only recommend this to people who are fantasy lovers. Anyways, have a great day. Until next time, ta-ta.